please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good afternoon. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Midcap Radar. The market is about 15 points away from the day's high. 10,356 was the high point. We're at about 10,342 as things stand. So it's looking pretty okay. I mean, it looked pretty okay all through the day. At no point has there been any a real indication that the market is reversing or selling off majorly. The problem, as the graph which came up before you, has been with the mid-cap index. I mean, that actually has been slipping into the red, coming back up, and there has not been that much confidence in that part of the market. So it's just barely higher, 20 odd points or so on an almost 19,000 index. We'll get more markets for you, but let me get in my colleague Sumera. Sumera, afternoon.
Hi Prashant, good afternoon to you as well. Let's also take stock of what's happening in Europe. I mean, I'm guessing that the markets over there would open pretty much on the front foot. So you would see quite a bit of green over there given the cheer that the jobs report has actually brought to the rest of the world. So Europe too opening with about 0.5% in terms of gains. Importantly, there's a meeting of finance ministers of the Eurozone which is due to take place in Brussels. A couple of things on the agenda. Of course, there's the next disbursement to Greece. They'll also once again tackle the issue of a banking union as well as talk about some Eurozone reform. So that as well is something that investors may keep on their radar.
So Ashwani, thanks very much. Good to have you here. So first of all, your reading of the market.
See, now the Nifty premium is about 15 odd points. So that means there's a clear mood of short covering, and chances are short covering on financials could pick up. So even from here, people could get long on the bank Nifty, etc. You could get 100, 120 points because even the PSU banks, which at one point got to 3% lower on the PSU bank index, are now recovering. So chances are once the banks start to participate, we'll be able to take out this 10,340, 360 resistance zone, and a better pullback will occur. Because right now, market confidence is extremely low. So engineering major pullbacks are a problem, but this is the time to get long on Yes Bank, and that's a buy with a stop of 298, target of 315. IndusInd Bank, that's a buy with a stop of 1700, target of 1765. And KPIT is a buy with a stop of 212, target of 226. Today at no point the private banks went into the red, so that means that part is holding on. So the moment you have short covering on PSUs, I think privates will rise even further.
The Nifty itself, you think, should go up to what levels in this move?
See, basically we've re-entered this 10,300, 600 zone. So now if global markets start to make new highs again, 10,600 is the place where you would go and still qualify this as a pullback. Once we start taking that out, then possibly the correction would have ended.
And this may well happen without mid-caps or banks really participating.
See, this year could be a narrower market. If we are going to underperform, obviously the market will not move like last year. So a lot of mid-caps will drop off. Some quality mid-caps may participate, but overall, 50% of them are likely to drop out.
All right, Ashwani, thanks very much for your afternoon trades. We'll keep Andhra Bank on your radar. Actually, we've been focusing on it through the day. The stock is down about 11-12% right now, and that is when it's off of the low point of the day. This after the Enforcement Directorate filed a charge sheet against a former director of the bank. The stock, though, has recovered about 6%, like I said, after we spoke to the management just a short while back. So let's hear out what the management had to say.
We have exposure in Sterling Biotech, Sterling Port, and also global. Okay. So our total exposure in the company is close to 900 crores, and domestic company is 290 crores. Okay. That is Fort and Sterling Fort and Sterling Biotech. Okay. And Sterling Global, we have SBLC to the extent of 800 crores. So these are already classified as NPA. This was separate. We actually declared as fraud almost 2 months back. I think it will come down from the present level to 14%. Now, in addition to loan growth, we have kind of sale of ARC and good recovery upgradation also. Sale of asset, we have put it 1,100 crores on the block, and we are expecting that to happen.
Well, the market doing exceedingly well. So look at stocks like ONGC, Yes Bank. They're pretty much at the highs of trade right now. In fact, a lot of these frontliner stocks. And from the broader markets, look out for a lot of these ADAG names. So Rel Infra, Rel Cap, Rel Power, all of them doing well in trade, about 1.5 to about 3-4% higher. And all of them currently sitting at the high point of trade. But let's focus on some companies. Man Infra is trading higher. The company has won a 220 crore rupee order from the Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana to construct about 2,300 odd residential units. Parag Shah, the MD of the company, now joins in. Mr. Shah, good afternoon. Thanks very much for speaking with us. To begin with, could you share the timeline for this order, as well as what are the kind of margins that you enjoy on orders like this?
Good afternoon. This is an order from Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. And this is, as you had mentioned, is under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. It's a low-cost housing. There's 2,300 houses are there. The time frame completion of project is 2 years.
I think we have him on a pretty bad line. Mr. Shah, we'll just dial you back and get you back on, but we'll revisit that story in a bit. I mean, look at the Nifty Bank. If you can very quickly put the intraday up, it's really surging now. So yes, I mean the market of course is at the high 10,356, but the Nifty Bank has also spurted up by about what, 0.25% or so in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Let's look at the PSU Bank index. I mean, if the move has got anything to do with that index, it was down about what, 1.6, 1.7% earlier. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, 2.25%, 2.33% lower. So, I mean, help seems to be coming from the private bank space and not really from the PSU banking space at this point in time. But as I said, I mean, it's good going so far for the market, especially large caps Nifty stocks. French multinational Alstom's chairman and CEO is in India. My colleague Shireen Bhan caught up with him to get a sense of their expansion plans and what role India will play in the group's strategy. Listen in to that conversation.
Each year, we are investing, I would say, between 50 million euro of investment in terms of physical investment. But in our type of industry, it's not only physical investment which is important, it's also all the expertise and the competence that we are bringing. I think our contracts that we have signed are illustrating the wide range of competence and expertise that we have in India. So it's not only, it can be components, it can be, like for Chennai, a complete metro, it can be infrastructure systems, signaling system. So we are really investing in the full mobility chain. In terms of market opportunity, India comes first, definitely. In terms of, I would say, turnover, it's growing 20-25% per year minimum. It has one of the largest backlog in the world, so it progressively becomes as well in terms of activity the number one for Alstom.
All right, let's get back to the conversation that we were having with the management of Man Infra. Parag Shah, the MD, is with us. Mr. Shah, sorry, we got disconnected at that point. You were telling us about the margins and the timeline for this order.
As I mentioned, the timeline for the project is 24 months.
Okay.
And margins are regular contracting margin between 10 to 12%. We should be able to make money out of this.
Okay. And what will this take your order book to? I mean, from this low-cost housing segment as well as overall?
As on 31st December, we had an order book of 550 crore rupees. And after that, the 220 crore is added. So now the order book is 770 crore rupees.
So you got two segments, right? EPC and real estate.
Yeah.
So
we are mainly into the port sector on EPC. We do real estate construction also for various developers as well as the government. So, and we do our own development also. So
this order, the total order book that you talked about, I mean, this is mostly in the EPC side?
Yeah, the 770 crore order book is the EPC side from the outside orders.
And no, so the total Man Infra order book is 770 crores?
Is from the outside orders, not our in-house projects. We have in-house project in the pipeline, which the work is started, or some of the work is nearer to started, which is around 5 million square feet. So we have two models. One is a developer company, one is a EPC contracting company. We do work of our EPC company, takes the order from our developer company also.
But both the businesses sit in Man Infra, right?
Yes, yes.
And the order we're talking about, the Pradhan Mantri Awas, that is essentially own order from developer to EPC.
Yeah. No, that's not our own project. That's a government project.
That's a government project, but the okay.
The 770 crore rupees order book is outside orders, not in-house projects.
Okay. So, what is the overall demand from this affordable housing segment? I mean, are there any more projects that you're bidding for?
There are two more projects we are bidding for the municipal corporation only. And the pre-bid meeting is, I think, within next week. That should also be concluded in next 1 month time. That's approximately 250 crore rupees each order book is there. So there are two contracts are there.
Okay, so about 500 crores.
Around 500 crore rupees, yeah.
Okay, what's your current debt, sir?
No, the parent company is a debt-free company.
Okay.
And we are sitting on a liquidity of almost around 150 crore plus.
Right. So I'm looking. So the debt of this is 330 odd crores or so. This is at what level?
This is 330 crore rupees is under construction. The project has not yet started, and that's a subsidy company. So the developer company on a subsidy side, which is a Man Vastukon, we are 77% partner is there. In that company, the debt is there.
Yeah, but that is essentially part of your company, right? I mean, that's
yeah, definitely. Yes.
So the debt sits in a subsidiary, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. How many other real estate projects are underway right now?
For real estate projects, we are doing two projects at Thana, one project at Mulund. One project is already on at Pimpri Municipal Corporation, which is nearer to completion. There's new two order books which we have received now. We are quoting for more two tenders. Plus, we are into port sector also, the Port of Singapore Authority. That work we are doing at Nhava Sheva.
Okay, we'll leave it there, Mr. Shah. Thanks very much. Appreciate you joining us. Good speaking to you. Brief outline about the company and a little bit about the order which they have received. Yeah, go on.
There was just a flash that said that Bank of Baroda will be allowed to close their operation in South Africa despite the Gupta case over there, the Zuma Gupta case, which has been ongoing. But, if I remember correctly, they had also filed a criminal case against the bank. So I don't know.
130 points on the Nifty, which means we are at the day's highest point, and 3/4 of a gain on the Bank Nifty. It's looking good. Midcap index is also put on about 40 points. That's a 1/4% or so. My colleague Ritu is now joining in with an exclusive story, and we understand that in the case of Alok Industries at NCLT, there has been little interest, actually no interest. Ritu is here with the details. Ritu, over to you.
Well, Prashant, this will come as a big hit to lenders if, indeed, at the end of the 270-day period, there is no bid for Alok Industries, and that is the way it looks like the company is heading. Remember, Alok is one of the largest cases currently undergoing insolvency proceedings. Financial creditors have claims of over 29,000 crores to Alok Industries, and in the final round of bidding, where firm bids were to be submitted as of the 9th of March, that is last Friday, not one single party came forward to submit a firm bid. In earlier rounds, when expressions of interests were invited, first time there was no interest. The second time there was some interest, perhaps people were speculating from Reliance Industries, which could have had interest in the polyester unit of the company, from Edelweiss and Kotak ARCs, also from the employees of the company. But as of Friday, when the deadline ended, not one bid was received. Why is this really a trouble area? Because, creditors firstly are running out of time. The deadline for resolution under IBC ends as of mid-April. level. So if they do decide to go for a rebidding, perhaps they could see some interest. If not, the liquidation value of the company is a mere, less than 2,000 crore rupees. So if it does end up in liquidation, there'll be a 27,000 crore hit that banks will have to take. So which is by no means very small. And we're talking about State Bank of India, Axis Bank, Bank of India, Canara Bank, several other large lenders that have exposure to this company. So if indeed no resolution is found, liquidation, is the only option in sight, and that will mean a big hit for all of the lenders involved.
All right, Ritu, thanks very much for that. Let's also get in some important market opinion we got earlier in the day. Shankar Sharma, First Global, says he's bullish on emerging markets. He actually expects a bull run there, and he also adds that the current fall is a buying opportunity for investors.
You're going to see a huge bull market in emerging markets. It's just the beginning of a resurgence of a bull market. If you go back in time, EMs have been actually trailing the global markets let's say, from 2010 onwards. I think that trend is reversing. And I think that's because of the commodity bull market and the weakness in the dollar. These two factors will drive emerging markets significantly higher. Stock prices are down 30% or 40%, 35%. If balance sheets are in good shape and if the earnings number are still intact, then they represent no-brainer buying opportunities. I mean, that's been my central learning. So, and that's a very simplified learning, but it has really worked over the years. So, I mean, all the companies that I've spoken to, stock prices are down 30%, numbers look intact, balance sheets are in good shape. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer to go out and buy those companies without any doubt at all. The metals pack, steel looks terrific. I mean, I've been bullish on all steel companies the last year and a half, along with my bullishness on commodities. They've corrected now, because of the market and because of, the tariff sort of, etc., being imposed by the US. But I don't think, that really matters. I think they will go back. Steel prices will be firm across the world, and Indian companies will benefit. So that looks good.